In a world where youth is prized above all else,
No way of getting to a happy and healthy state of being if one of those are lacking or out of, sync, out of control.
one woman's wisdom reveals the secret to living longer, feeling younger, and thriving every day.
Feeling alive, that to me is longevity.
From the groundbreaking podcast, Youthful Aging Secrets,
If you are like me, if anyone listen here like me, I very much dislike strength training. But you have to do it.
discover the power of discipline,
Sleeping is like the top one best medicine on my book.
the healing force of sleep,
We have eyes in the front of the head. My father used to say that. We're not meant to look back as you walk forward. The eyes are here. You just look here.
and the vision to move forward. Join us as we unlock the keys to a vibrant, youthful life. Youthful Aging Secrets presents Maria Antonietta. Listen now and begin your journey to a healthier, happier you. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Youthful Aging Secrets Podcast. Today we have an amazing guest, Maria Antonietta. Maria is 48 years old, but she looks, feels, and performs much younger. She used to be a ballet dancer and a model, but after facing some serious health issues, she had to resolve that and then started to study nutrition and wellness for about 17 years. She's a board-certified holistic nutritionist, an integrative coach. She's been part of the Association for Drugless Practitioners since 2007 and has a background in biomedical nutrition and psychoneurology. In this episode, Maria is going to share her best tips on how to keep your body and mind young. You'll learn some cool tricks to boost your energy and stay as healthy as possible. We'll also cover how Maria starts her day to feel awesome, simple ways to calm your mind and boost your health, the best foods to eat and how to detox your body, fun and easy ways to stay fit, how to optimize your sleep, and we'll deep dive into her specific day-to-day routine. Maria Antionetta's energy is truly infectious, and I really enjoyed our conversation, and I hope you do too. Thanks for watching. Okay. Hi, Maria Antonietta. Welcome to the show. We just had a little convo off mic, just to clarify. So the full name is Maria Antonietta. That's one name. It's not first and last name.
One mouthful, one name. Maria Antonietta. That's all.
Awesome. So for this to shorten it, I will call you Maria, if that's okay.
Yeah, you can go with Maria. You can go with my nickname, Bia. So that's fine too. You choose.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So Maria, thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited. And I have 1,000,001 questions, but I'd like to start off with a little bit of your background, kind of like what what led you to here and what do you do and all that cool stuff. And I'll let you take it away.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited for this. I love this field of our life so much that I can talk about this all day and all night. So let's go. I started ever since I was little, I was always interested in the simplicity and complexity of being human. Of little things, like my mom would get these fresh ingredients in the kitchen and all of a sudden, like magic, like the most delicious meal. And then fast forward many years coming to the United States. I came here, didn't know the language, didn't have friends, family, anyone here, didn't have much money. So I would go to the supermarket and everything was so overwhelming. So I would buy, the frozen foods. And I was amazed by, my gosh, this looked exactly like what my mom made. That I remember taking hours and hours making it. And with a quick 20, 30 seconds microwave, boom, I have the same meal. And that started a journey of like downhill for me on my health. And I didn't know. And it became really complicated to the point of me going to emergency room, thinking I'm dying because I have this horrific pain. Later to know was a kidney infection. Here I am, a young girl, thinking I'm eating healthy, and I'm at the hospital. So instead of going to school to learn language as an adult, English, I signed up for nutrition because I needed to know. So I started studying nutrition, and then I went into coaching. 2007, I got my certificate. I became a board certified holistic integrative coach. And from there, I just kept going and going because I needed to know more. So then fast forward a little bit, already working with clients, I noticed that some people would do really well just following health, nutrition, diet, and all the information I gave, while others didn't see any result or would give up. So I started going to, all right, it's a mindset thing. What can we do with that? And then now I'm enrolled into biomedical nutrition master's, going into a PhD for psychoneurology. And it's like, I need to know. And then I see more results. Later in life, because of a friend of mine, I signed up to start learning about energy and energy healing. In Brazil, we're all very spiritual people, more so than religious. So then I started learning about Reiki and became a Reiki master and start putting together the beauty of taking care of all our four bodies, which are you familiar with the four bodies?
My guess is spiritual, emotional, mental, but probably something else. Is that what we're talking about? Okay.
Physical,
Okay.
emotional, intellectual, spiritual, right. So there's
Okay.
no way of getting to a happy and healthy state of being if one of those are lacking or out of, sync, out of control. So yeah, I am fascinating of the beauty that it is to be human. Every day I'm in awe of seeing what a smile can do for you. What, like, you're feeling like crap and you go on and you, sorry, I'm saying that.
Listen, I swear. So be ready. There's no filter. We got to keep it
Right,
real here.
right.
So you speak as you want to speak.
Like, you don't feel well and you all of a sudden go to the kitchen, get a big glass of water, and you drink that glass of water. It's like bringing life back. Your energy comes back. You feeling like all like lack energy, depressed. You drink a fresh made juice and your cheeks turn purple and you feel circulation going on and you're all bubbly and you don't know why. Or you feel like I cannot achieve anything and you go to the gym and you work out and you get your hormones popped out and muscles pumping, and all of a sudden you can conquer the world. And that's beautiful, and we all have access to that. So why not everyone is using? Why disease is such a huge problem? Why our health is going downhill? Why are we dying at young age? Like, it's big questions to answer, but I believe inside of us and inside of our house, we should have access to pretty much anything we need for survive, and not just survive, for thriving, if we are true to ourselves and keep things simple. Yeah. I talk a lot.
Oh no, that's beautiful. And I totally agree with you. It's, and that's why I'm doing this too, because I want to get answers to those same questions, and that same with you. I think we share the same fascination with just life and how remarkable our bodies are, and just a lot of things. Like, there's been times where I'm around people who were sick and I even drank out of the same cup my daughter's sick or something, and I'm good. And then there's other time no one is sick and yet I get a flu or something. So it's like, obviously I understand some parts of it with maybe if your immune system is run down, but I like to really understand why. And then more importantly, what can I do? I like to convert that philosophy or knowledge into something actionable. What can I do today or tomorrow? So right now, what would you say is your primary focus? Because you seem to have experience in a lot of different fields, and it seems like they all kind of interconnect. So where's your focus on these days with respect to health and longevity?
Well, longevity, it's my main focus. I'm writing a book on longevity, so it is my main focus. However, longevity to me is not just living long years like in your life and not, longevity to me is having longevity on your birthdays on your career, on your relationships, on anything you choose to do with vitality, being content, being healthy. We're looking forward to that, feeling alive. That to me is longevity. Now, how long we all going to live, that's a much bigger question that, it's not up to me to answer. I believe in destiny. I believe in so many others, but I think we should strive to always do the best we can to maintain this. This is a gift, being alive, waking up every day. That's one of my practices. Before I even open my eyes, I realize I'm about to wake up a little before my alarm usually. I smile. Because to me, it's like, I made it. Again, I'm here. You start the day with a positive view of, no matter how bad things are, it's a possibility to do all over again and do it better. So, yeah.
I love that. I love that. And it's a perfect segue that I wanted to get into with respect to mindset. But before getting into that, that is something that I've started to cultivate myself as well. And it's not a habit yet, because some days I forget and I have to remind myself, but it's getting there. So little things like before I eat, many cultures practice a prayer or just a moment of thanks. I've started to incorporate that before eating, before drinking, even just on a drive when I arrive. I thank, for me, God, a creator. Like I'm very happy and blessed that I'm here. I arrive safely, because on the way, you see accidents. You see people that unfortunately can't drive or whatever it is. So even just when I wake up, I try to, when my feet hit the ground, just to give a quick thank you. Like I'm so happy, even if it's I'm tackling a problem. It's like, hey, I'm still here. Like I can think, I can walk, I can use my. So with respect to that, I think that falls under the umbrella of mindset. What is mindset to you, and how important do you think it is in the journey of longevity, like living a healthier quality of life, not just lifespan, but what's mindset to you? How important is it? And we can dig into that.
I think mindset is everything. It's very important because you look at things from a bigger picture. So you don't fall into the dark places. You don't go into a deep hole of like problems and stress getting bigger and bigger. You're always looking at things from a bigger picture, understanding who you are and being present. I think that is big part of mindset is being present. That's the beauty of it, because then you understand that what's happening very soon is going to be part of your past. It's not forever. And that could be pain, suffering, good things as well. Everything very soon is going to be over there. Right? So why worry so much, carry the problem of right now into a future that you don't even, experience yet, but you're already picturing this big, ugly, painful, harsh future? No. Mindset is like being present. That's, I think, the beauty of having control of that and bring yourself back into the present moment, which is very hard at some moments, some occasions. But it's very, very, very important to me, crucial to longevity. Crucial to longevity, I think, in my opinion.
I absolutely agree. And that's something I've struggled with, that I've been improving on too, is perhaps letting go of something that's past. So guilt about the past, or, because guilt really is just about the past, because you feel bad about something that's already happened, and also worrying about the future, which is like senseless, because like you say, we don't really know, right? We like to think we know, but we don't know.
Especially we Aquarians, we like to think we know everything.
I know, because we like routine and structure, and we think we can plan everything,
and we have control of nothing. Ricardo, once I watched a cartoon, and I believe it was Kung Fu Panda, I think, that it had a quote that clicked for me, and that was a long time ago. And he said, the past is history. The future is a mystery. The present is a gift, and that's why it's called the present. And that went like, wow. So if the past is history, why are we carrying the guilt, the whole, like there are ways of working on that. Of course, you're not just going to start doing things and just, forget it's in the past. No, we're human. We have feelings. We have emotions. Emotions are energy in motion. So if you don't deal with them, they're going to start growing and becoming, heavier and heavier to deal with. But yeah, the past is over there. The future is a mystery to us. You can take actions to create the future you want. But the present is a gift. Being alive is a gift. So I love that.
Yeah, I do love that. And I know that quote. I think it's popular from other. I don't think that's where it originated, but it's something I've heard it, and it's said so often
That's
that
where
it
I
seems
saw it first. It went like, Yeah.
Yeah, and it sounds like a little, because you hear it in movies, it sounds corny, but it's so true. It's 100% true.
Yeah. But I love that they made that into a cartoon for kids because, understanding that I wish I had more of that understanding when I was little. I was always so anxious to go ahead and to build the future and to be an adult and to do the things. So, yeah.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I grew up too fast in that sense. At 14, I was ready to go, So with respect to mindset, what are some things do you work with clients on mindset as well?
Yeah.
And what are some exercises or practices, behaviors that you kind of teach or encourage, things that people can do to, first of all, understand the importance of mindset and then start implementing to change their mindset? Because I agree with you. I think it really does start first with our frame of mind.
Right. So before I get into mindset in my programs, we go into a detox or a preparation because we have to clear our bodies from a lot of toxins, a lot of things that make you think differently because your gut health and your brain, it's super connected. So let's clear that. Let's get out of that clutter from your body. Then we start putting good foods in and good thoughts in. So I always start with breath work. Breathing is one of the most profound techniques is breathing, deep breathing. And you start with being more present and you bring a lot more oxygen into your brain. So focus gets better. Everything gets better. And then you can go deeper into other types of breathing exercises and practices. And then you start with meditation. If they already don't know how, then we start with meditation practices. Meditation, from a very beginning, it's already a beautiful practice. And then you go to the next level and it's like, woo. And then you go to the next level, you're like, yeah. And then you start attracting things. You start changing your mindset. You start seeing the world differently. You start acting differently. You start becoming who you want it to be. And that is magic, that's magic. That's beautiful. So I would say the most important thing when working on mindsets is removing a lot of the bad stuff that put in thoughts and nutrition, and then adding the good stuff in, and then breathing, meditation, exercise, all of those practices work wonders into building a stronger being and clear mindset, positive mindset towards your goals, toward the life you crave to have. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it did. And I'm gonna keep digging if that's okay, because that's that. And you already know how we are as Aquarius. Is like we don't stop. We keep going.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna interrogate you a little bit if that's okay. So mindset, and it makes sense to first start with eliminating, toxins by way of breathing exercises and, changing up our nutrition habits, etc., and then introducing other things. So can we dive a little bit into the breathing? I don't want to go into some big thing, but if you have anything that, because I want people to be able to walk away with like, oh, I can try that, breathing exercise or something that you would recommend for somebody.
Of course. So let me try to make it simple and easy. Let me pick an easy one that anyone can do, even if they have asthma or, breathing exercise is so powerful. It can save lives. Someone's having an anxiety attack at a mall, it can save a life from panic, from fear, from anything. So our lungs, more or less, or it's like more like a big triangle, right? And the sad part is most people use like up to like 30% of our lungs, because the way you walk, not you, a lot of people unfortunately walk with postures, constantly looking at the phone. It makes it a lot harder to take deep breaths. And then we in society today don't find time anymore to put aside a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes for a quick breath work or a quick meditation, or just move, or just, go for a walk. So we fall into these habits of not using a lung capacity, a full lung capacity. And that alone is the reason for so many little problems that later can become a bigger problem, like anxiety, focus, lack of focus. You're not even breathing, expanding, not to mention all the chakras here and emotions. You need to open your chest, posture, chest. It holds everything together. Is your upper body, is how you present yourself into the world. You're going to a job interview and you walk like this, and, now you go, like, you meet people, like, we're powerful beings, and all starts with breathing. So one that I like a lot that everyone can do is the 4-4-4-4. It's box breathing. So if you imagine a box have 4 equal sides. So you breathe in through your nose to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, expanding. We're talking about diaphragmal breathing, not just chest breathing. So if you're laying down, you put a pen or a pencil here, you're still lifting, then you know you're doing the right thing until you get used to. So then you're breathing 4, counting to 4. Then you hold for 4, imagining the square, the box. And then you release the air through your nose as well, through 4. And then you hold again, 4. So it's powerful. And then you repeat that 4 times. So 4, 4, 4, 4. Breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold. Breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold 4 times. And that's called box breathing. Super powerful.
I love that.
The exam, an interview, get out of bed, go into bed. Any time of the day you can practice box breathing. It takes a minute.
So 4 sets of it, right? So today at the gym, I actually started to incorporate breathing exercises after my workout.
Yeah.
And so what I've learned was to kind of turn off that, when you work out, you got your adrenaline pumping,
Right.
and your sympathetic nervous system is now taking over. So you want to get back into that parasympathetic and calm down. And it actually helps with recovery. And
Right.
so just a few minutes, I laid down, I did the exact same thing, box breathing. And I'll do, if you're familiar with it, physiological sighs, which Dr. Andrew Huberman talked about. Basically, you do like a deep breath followed by a quick inhalation and then slowing the exhalation. That and box breathing are 2 the breathings that really help turn on that parasympathetic.
I do love the work of Dr.
That's awesome.
Andrew Huberman. It's like amazing. It takes a little bit more practice, but if it works for you, beautiful, beautiful. Like, keep on doing it, because it's priceless. It's using the mechanics of your own body, to heal, to restore, to make you stronger, to make you live longer. It's like, why not? It's a shot of life.
Yeah, I actually have a little story, and I told this on another interview, but I think it's important. 2 of my coaches, because I've done martial arts pretty much my whole life, even into my adulthood. The first coach would introduce breathing, and he always used to say, slow down your exhalation, even when you're sparring, to try to be breathing out most of the time. And I didn't understand, because to me it was like, but if I'm exhaling, I'm losing. But I learned over time that why it worked was because when you're exhalating, you're slowing down your heart rate on the exhalation, and so you're preserving energy and you're learning to stay calm, which preserves energy and makes you be able to last longer. So that's the first thing. The second one was my wrestling coach I had. Whenever we'd be wrestling or sparring, if the other opponent would have their mouthpiece, because we were mouth guards, right? You bite down so you don't hurt your teeth. If you would see their mouthpiece, he would be like, his mouthpiece is showing. And that was an indication that he's starting to breathe through his mouth.
Right.
And it meant turn it on. It means go at him faster, because when somebody's breathing, like, it means they're tired and they're out of rhythm. And he was very smart to know, like, you know, that's the time to put the pressure on, because they're catching their breath, their reaction time is slower, and now their heart rate's pumping, and they're more likely to make mistakes or give up. And as silly as it sounds, that did introduce me into the world of breath and fascination with breath. I was like, why is that? You know, because again, I'm super, like, I don't just let it go. I have to know. And so when you bring this up to me, it seems like excellent advice, because I do agree with that 100%. Even with me, when I've struggled with anxiety in the past, I'm much better now. But when I used to have like panic attacks and stuff, I realized because I'm not breathing or I'm hyperventilating. I'm like, it's like, do you gotta, first of all, use your breath to relax. Like
right. Use what you have. I'm familiar with the martial arts training. It's intensive. My brother, my oldest brother, did martial arts his whole life. I did not. I just practiced with him. So I always got my butt kicked. But at the time, I was doing classic ballet. I grew up doing ballet classic. And it was a very intense practice. And my teacher, I remember times she would put tapes on our mouth. So you start practicing all the work. Like, I remember times that my heart would be pumping like 300 beats per minute and with tape. And then you just cannot panic, because if you panic, you can't open your mouth. So she'll teach us how to use your nose only for calming. And I remember being very small and thinking, this is abusive. But then later, I understood the practice. It was so hard. Ballet is such a hard practice, but she wanted us all to be like seemingly like nothing hurts. Everything is beautiful. And we're all like, so in order to do that, you need to practice breathing. So I grew up remember that in moments. And like, if I would go during high school, I ran with the track and field team. And I remember I had the easiest time running track because everyone was, and I could just, So breathing is powerful, very powerful.
I agree. I totally agree. Even when I do cardio, unless it's super high intensity, then I exhale through my mouth and try to breathe through my nose. But when your heart rate's to a certain point, sometimes it's like, and that's when I know, okay, I'm getting to a certain level, right? But I try to breathe. Oh, that's okay. Go ahead.
Do you practice high intensity training? HIIT?
Yes. 2 types. So I do a lot of zone 2, which is, just walking at a pace where I can still talk, but you could hear like it's labored. Like you can tell, like, what are you doing? Are you like, I'm walking fast. Right. And I do high intensity, like where you go really hard for about as hard as you can for about 10 seconds. Okay. And then for about 45 seconds, you try to maintain a much lower heart rate to get back and then go back. I do that for 10 to 15 minutes. But when I'm doing zone 2, for example, I'm trying to breathe in and exhale just through my nose, like what you were saying. Mm-hmm. And when you first start doing that, even though I'm pretty fit, I have pretty good cardio, I noticed that, man, even just zone 2, I was wanting to breathe through my mouth. And over time, it's trained me to learn to relax, also improve my cardio. It even improved my high intensity, which is weird. Like, I can go harder for longer and recover. My heart rate drops back down much faster. And my resting heart rate went down just from practicing breathing and exhaling through my nose, like forcing my mouth to not open.
It's amazing, right?
It is amazing. It literally just one change So I do try to do that a lot through zone 2 cardio. And I agree with you on that one.
Congrats on that. It's not easily done, but it's doable
No.
and is amazing.
Yep, it is. And I've started to use mouth tape at night. You just put a little strip.
Yeah.
It's I as far as I know, and people have told me, I don't really breathe through my mouth in the night. So I tend to keep breathing in and out through my nose, or at
Good.
least breathing in and exhaling, but very rarely, unless I'm congested through allergies or something, I tend to breathe through my nose. So I think it's working. I don't know. I don't struggle with it though. When I put the mouth tape, I'm kind of, I think it's okay. But
Yeah.
I know a lot of people struggle with mouth breathing at night, especially. They sleep with their mouth open and
Yeah. And the tape is such a simple fix. Everyone can, it's safe. You can even use it with children if you notice that the kids are starting to breathe through their mouths, because that can impact their learning, learning skills. So it's very safe. And I think everyone should be using it. Some people get a little freaked out about the thought of putting tape in their mouth, but it's not a whole tape. It's just a little piece to kind of
yes.
together.
And people forget our mind is very smart. If you can't breathe, you're going to wake up. Like, it's that simple. If I were to plug your mouth and nose while you're sleeping and deep sleep, you're going to go and wake up, like it's our body's always fighting to keep us alive. So it's not a problem. But yeah, it even changes the shape of our jaw and teeth as you're developing, which I didn't know. I've been learning more about mouth breathing. I was like, holy crap. Like, even kids that are chronic mouth breathers, you can see they start to have issues later with the way their teeth form, their cardiovascular output. It's insane.
It's amazing what the importance, every part of us, Ricardo, in my opinion, it's so perfectly designed. The whole body is connected. There's no way that you're gonna do one thing is not gonna affect another. It's all connected. It's all part of the one system. This is a big suit that carries on a perfect machine that connects to a mind, that connects to your soul. There's no way that you can just keep practicing something like sleeping with your mouth open and not seeing the side effect of that in the future. So
interesting. Okay, so the breath work is one way to start to get rid of toxins, and also you mentioned diet or nutrition. So is it more so eliminating certain things that are clearly not good for us?
Yeah.
First.
So yes, absolutely. Number one practice that everyone can do and will save money: eliminate crap, eliminate junk, eliminate sugar. My gosh, the biggest culprit. You want to live longer. You want to have nice, clear, beautiful skin. You want to feel happy. You want to sleep well. You want to digest your foods well. You want to prevent heart, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's. My gosh, anxiety even be linked to high sugar in your diet. Eliminate sugar. And by eliminate sugar, you're going to eliminate so much, from alcohol beverage to sodas, cookies. They put food, anything that comes in package most likely have sugar. Sugar is nicked in. Learn how to read labels, remove that. There's a huge part of the supermarket that you can buy being fear-free. Go there, spend most of your money there, and then a little bit into the other sessions. So eliminate the garbage, and your body is going to know what to do instantly. You don't even need to do a lot of research. You don't even need to pay. You don't need a coach like me to tell you, stop eating crap. You already know that. Everyone does. If you need guidance, if you need an accountability partner, that's a different story. A lot of people do. But the knowledge is out there. Remove all the garbage. Because a system that is loaded with inflammation and all kinds of toxins cannot absorb the good things. So what's the point of spending money with expensive supplements? You're not going to absorb anything. You're throwing money in the garbage, which brings to the second biggest stressor, which is finances. So now you spend money that you don't see benefits, and later you're going to spend even more with medical treatments. So remove all the garbage. Number one thing to do. Then put the good things back in.
Now, on the topic of sugar, which I agree, what are your thoughts on honey?
Right. So
would that fall under the category of sugar, because that is naturally occurring in nature, and a lot of people say honey is great for you. I love honey. I'm obsessed with honey, and I have to go easier on it, but that's how I sweeten if I drink tea or coffee or whatever, or sometimes I'll have it like on top of a banana or something. But I've learned to cut back, but I'm just curious what your thoughts are on honey as an alternative for people who are like, oh, but I gotta have something.
Sweet. I love honey. It is nature, it's good. So real honey, raw honey, good for you. It can cure like the worst of flu symptoms. Like you put a little honey in tea, or you make your elixirs with honey, garlic, the whole thing. It's so delicious. I am not against anything that nature gives to you. I think each person needs to know their bodies well and what they're dealing with. And for some cases, might be a little bit much sugar, but not because of the honey. It's because where you are already in life and other things that you eat in a day. So you need to take in consideration. A healthy person or a kid, a teenager, or you feel like having a little sweet in your day, having a spoonful of honey, no problem. It's going to help your immunity. It's going to make you happy. There's antioxidants galore inside, honey. So choose real honey. Read the label. Read and make sure there's no sugar added. The whole. Yeah, I love honey and honeycomb. Gosh.
Yeah, I get the unpasteurized raw honey. It's just literally not the one that the Billy Bee crap that's like loaded with other stuff. And they like boil, they do things to it that's essentially killing the nutrients, the life force. So unpasteurized is the way to go, raw.
Yeah. And
it tastes a little different.
It does. And it's sometimes even a little bit bitter. Like the stronger they are, the more you can feel the bitterness a bit. And I love that. But on that note about honey, if you are drinking tea and you add a little bit of honey to your tea, that's fine. But don't ever boil honey. So I know some people, I've seen posts on Instagram of people giving out recipes for healing teas, but while they're boiling, they're adding the honey. It's like, no, that's a big no. After the teas are right in your cup, that's when you add honey.
Interesting. I've never boiled honey that I can remember, but why is boiling honey bad? Because I do what you said. I just add it to my tea or my coffee.
Because you're going to bring the honey to a much higher temperature that can survive all the antioxidants, all the nutrients of the honey. That's going to all vapor out. And you stuck with sugar only. Instead of benefiting you, it's going to harm you.
That makes sense. Okay. And aside from getting rid of sugar, I think that's or drastically reducing, if not getting rid of. I think that's excellent advice. What other food? It seems to me like most things people would agree, most diets seem to follow around the theme of eliminating or reducing processed food.
Right.
Because it's the more processed something is, it feels like to me is not the way we're designed to eat.
The more processed the food is, the farther away from the real ingredient they are. Our bodies don't recognize. Our bodies need the real thing. They know what to do. So a person that eats a lot of processed food is creating inflammation instantly in your body. It's slowing down metabolism. Your digestive system is getting messed up. So processed foods are so high on all kinds of fat and MSGs and sugar and salt and everything to make you eat more. So a person eats and 5 minutes later want to eat more. Can't stop eating the potato chip bag until it's done. And then it's going to crave a high sugary fruit or a high sugary drink. it's made, is made for us to consume, get addicted to, and keep eating. Is made for creating disease. That's the truth. I have a beef with some brands that, oh my gosh, if I could eliminate them from the planet, that market things in a way they make you think that is good for you. That's such a manipulation. That's evil, you know. And they target kids and families and, you know, busy moms or people who cannot afford the organic. That they don't know. They read the label, says organic. Like, organic inside a box is not organic anymore. It's
I agree with you. And not to get into conspiracies,
right.
because we can go down this road, but I do believe, and actually, as a matter of fact, it is well documented that there are companies that manufacture these types of foods, processed foods, and that also own or have a vested interest in pharmaceutical drugs,
all the drugs that fix the
that fix the problems that these foods cause.
Yes, that's so true.
Including in the psychiatric field. So it's like you're putting this shit in people's food that you know is causing mental health issues, physical health issues, that you then know they're going to need to go to a doctor and get prescribed XYZ medicine.
Yeah.
So they make money that way. And not to mention those medicines now create more symptoms and it's just, and not every company's like this, and not everybody who is involved in the food market is like, some people are just
it's a snowball, like one thing.
Yeah, so I don't want to go crazy and say, oh, every single fast food chain is involved. No, that's not the case. And some people just don't know, and even they consume the food. But there are some companies that some people in that company are aware of what's happening, and they take advantage of it in other ways. And I won't get into that now. I maybe do an episode on that one day, but
Oh my gosh.
but it drives me nuts too. I get very angry about that stuff.
I get Italian when it comes to that. My blood boils into like fury. I can't.
Well, because it's like it's not murder, you know, but it's like, hey, this is ethically, this is along the lines of somebody who's malicious or doing something evil.
Yeah.
If I know that you're eating something that's going to create some kind of disease, and because of that you're going to buy my product, like, I don't know, man, that's pretty close to as dirty as you can get, you know.
Like the food supply, these manufacturers, they have teams, so many people working on the marketing for this product, so many people creating the perfect mix between salt and sugar to create cravings. It's evil. You don't see people, you know, there is a big misconception that I see in the nutrition nowadays. They say, be careful with fruit. Don't eat fruit, too much sugar, too much. I don't ever heard of anyone having an overdose on strawberries. I don't know of anyone getting diabetes because they ate too much pineapple. That's not, you know, everything else you did or do in your day, and then you eat fruit. So now the fruit is fourth thing. The fruit is a gift from nature to us. That's not the culprit. So we need to be very careful with the information out there, and, you know what's truth, what's not.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I totally agree. The only exception I would say is some people have allergies. Some people are allergic to, but that's entirely different. That's a completely different conversation. But if you don't have a food allergy and you're eating fruit, I agree. Like, this idea of like, get rid of fruit, or it's like, come on, man. And this is, it's stupid.
If you have diabetes, you have to be careful, and there's some other, you know, classifications that need to be careful with the quantity, and the type of fruits you eat, and, you know. And when I say fruit, I don't mean the fruit cup that sells in the supermarket. I mean, at home, you peel off an orange, or you eat a bowl of strawberries, or, you know, You're not eating just sugar. You're eating fiber. You're eating insoluble and soluble fiber, minerals, vitamins. There's a lot that comes packed inside that little thing. That's a label you don't need to read.
I love that.
Yes.
Another conspiracy. What's your take on organic versus non-organic? And before you answer that, I'll tell you, I do believe that if something is being sprayed with pesticides or harmful chemicals that are killing organisms, we are an organism too. I think that can't be good for us, right? You can't, because and I know they say the dosage makes the poison is this big saying in the field of toxicology and all that, but it's like, it's still, it can't be good for you. But at the same time, I don't know if I trust that what I'm getting is even organic anymore, and what that even means, because now they can classify something as organic if it has
two pesticides.
yeah, even if it's just less pesticide or something. So there's a lot of these little loopholes, and these foods are very expensive. Like, I don't know, but you in Toronto, here in Canada, if the difference between like a pound of, I don't have the exact prices, but it's significant. Like, we're talking like 40% increase. Like, if I were to get a big shopping cart full of fruit, and one is organic and one is not, we're talking about like it could double my groceries.
Right.
So, and not everybody has the means to do that. So now I'm diving deep into like, okay, what's the deal with organic and non? And so anyways, I just want to know your take on it.
Right. So I'm going to give you my take on, and I'm going to be very honest. That's the only way I know how to be. So first of all, when I work closely with my clients, everything I do is designed for them, for each individual, right? Because we're all very unique. Man, woman, age, hormone, where you are, likes, dislikes, like you said, allergies, etc. What I'm about to say now is very general, right? So if you can buy organic, buy organic. Don't overbuy, because a lot of people overbuy and then the fruit goes bad and you waste your money, or you ate fruit that's already so old that no longer holds on to all the nutrients, already lost a lot of the water, so now has a higher content of sugar than it has water in it. And so don't overbuy. If you can afford, buy organics. If you cannot afford all organic, buy half and a half. I suggest to buy your morning foods organic, and then the non-organics, make sure you cook them. Make sure you wash them really well, store them well, and cook them well. And then make your non-organic foods the foods that have a lot more fiber and less sugar content. That's a little trick that helps balancing that out. And then later, during my programs, when they learn how to cook for themselves, what kind of foods and diets they should follow, and it's very different for everyone. And I don't suggest anyone following one type of diet alone. So, but once you learn like how to cook for you or for your family, it's going to become a lot easier. You spend less money, you buy less food, but you consume all the food you buy. And then with time, you're going to start becoming stronger and better at everything in your life. Includes, you're going to start attracting everything you want in your life, or changing your job, or attracting more clients, or it's just going to change the whole vibration, the whole energy, and you start attracting. So now you can afford the better organics. Backing into organics, like you said, nowadays, it's very hard to find a true organic food, because even organics, they need to put a little bit of pesticides. Due to climate changes and farms, the soil no longer has all the minerals in it, so the little bugs attack the food, so they have to. It's also very important to wash well, to prep your food well. Another thing that you need to know when you go to the supermarket and you see a label organic, touch the food, pick it up. It's fresh, or it look like it's dead already. You know, what's the point of paying 3 times more for a kale that once you pick it up is like, well, or the carrots, organic carrots that are already like super flexible. No, it's a waste of money. Be smart. Like, know your budget, know what you're gonna do with that food, plan your week ahead so you don't overbuy, you don't overspend. and then clean your vegetables and fruits and really well. One thing that I highly recommend to get it organic, and you don't need to buy, everyone can do it on their own home, even if they live in an apartment, because it takes up very little space, is herbs like cilantro, parsley, scallions, chives, it's like these little ones you can plant at home, basil, and then you guarantee organic and you have it every day. So, or buy organics, because herbs are a powerhouse of nutrition and tiny little packs of them. So
Yeah, that's really cool. Now, how do you wash, when you say wash, how do you wash your non-organic fruits and vegetables? Maybe it sounds like a dumb question, but there's so many
No, it's
different things. How long? How do you do it? I'm just curious how you recommend people do.
right. So things like strawberries, for example, if you buy a big thing of strawberry and it's just you in your house and you know you're not going to eat a lot of them, don't wash them ahead of time. Wash as you eat. It's not as practical, but they last longer. Otherwise, go ahead and wash. I don't have some of those remove osmosis kind of filters, none of that. I have a very simple filter that has all the minerals, like the old school type of filters that you had to put water and has all the minerals. And then I add a little salt to my water. But for the fruits and vegetables, I wash them. I give a rinse on tap water, just a quick rinse. And then I put them in a bowl with filtered water, vinegar, and baking soda. So the mix of that removes everything that you can take. I leave it for about 15 minutes. The strawberries and berries in general, besides blueberries, you have to be careful. Sometimes leaving too long, you start removing some of the nutrients of those fruits. So don't leave as long. But it's scary. The difference of what you see when you wash organic and non-organic is scary. It makes you never want to eat non-organic again. Sometimes you even see little bugs boiling out blood there because of the baking soda and vinegar, which is fine. You know, the bugs wanted to eat the food and they probably came from the fruit, but it's pretty gross, the color of the water and everything that comes out. If you look under the microscope, you'll be like, bleh, disgusting.
Yeah, I've never done that. That's crazy. I'm gonna check that out. So, is there a specific amount of vinegar to baking soda, or just?
No, the vinegar is amazing because you don't need to put too much because it changes the pH of the water.
Right.
So the little bugs can survive that, and then also remove toxins and everything. After you rinse out the vinegar with the baking soda, you had to give another rinse on filtered water. I only use filtered water for cooking and for washing things.
Right.
So the vinegar, I put like 2 soup spoons for about a bowl that is this big. So it's not a lot. The bowl, I think it goes about 3 cups of water in that bowl. So it's more or less. There is no real ratio. And then 1 medium spoon of baking soda. Also, you don't need a lot. And it's so cool because you put on, it's like bubbles, everything is like,
Yeah. And even with hard shell fruits like oranges and pineapples, those have like a hard exterior. Bananas, you recommend it too, or more so the ones that are more raw, like the skin, like strawberries, kale, things like that?
I rinse everything, but the hard shell fruit, usually the ones that I leave outside on my counter, out on my counter, on top of the counter, I do wash them as I use it.
Right.
But I do wash them because they're not only dirty. When
you put a thumbs up, it copies you.
It's not only dirty from the dirt and all of that. Imagine how many hands touch that fruit until get to you, or how many containers were sitting. So if you are to squeeze a line, you are squeezing all that stuff into your drink.
That makes sense.
It's really nice to give a decent wash. Remove the tags. Organics come with the tags on the plant. Always remove them with your dry hands. Don't not in wet, because all the chemicals, all the what's the name of that? My goodness, the I think it's gunpowder that is used on those printers for the old. That is highly toxic to us humans, and you absorb really quickly because the molecules are very small. So always with dry hands remove. I usually remove as when I get home, so I don't have to worry about.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do what? Yeah.
Okay, cool. Good to know. I'm gonna try that and make a little video of organic versus non-organic and see what the color looks like, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Eventually I will invest in studies, actual studies in a lab where people, like, I'm gonna fund it to get these things tested, and I would like to do that. Yeah, and then put that out there, you know. Okay, so switching gears, let's get into, so we talked a little bit about nutrition, more so things to avoid, the general concepts, which I think is important. With respect to actually staying on the topic of nutrition, do you recommend fasting, intermittent fasting, these things? You know, this is a very popular subject nowadays. Is that something you recommend, or is it depending on the person, how much someone should eat, calories, all that kind of stuff, and even for yourself? But yeah, what do you recommend in that area?
I'm a big fan of intermittent fasting. I know there's a lot of contradiction nowadays about that, including especially for a woman a certain age because hormone health and all of that. I believe everyone can benefit from intermittent fasting and fasting at least every now and then. I don't understand what the whole buzz is about. Cultures have been using fasting for religious reasons for so long. When we're babies don't eat for a huge period of time. So why we grow up, we're thinking you have to always eat. Give a break to your digestive system. Allow your cells to renew. Our bodies know how to heal and restore. But if you're constantly putting things in, your system is constantly working. I like to follow. So I'm a little weird about giving advice on exactly what I do because my body works different than most people. Everyone benefits from intermittent fasting. Women, however, have to be a little more careful than men because of hormone health. If you're going to go for fasting, you need to know your cycle, your period cycle, so you don't damage your health instead of benefiting. So it's a little more complex. But for men, it's fantastic. Increases your energy levels for everyone. Give you a break on the digestive system that is much needed. If you follow the circadian rhythm and the circadian rhythm of nature and try to align to your body, that's something I like to do. So we automatically go into intermittent fasting, right, during your sleep. So you can just increase the hours a little bit, stop eating a little earlier, eat a little later, and boom, you're doing intermittent fasting naturally. Now you're agreeing with your body, you're agreeing with nature. You're not abusing the body. The system's working better. The belly starts to flattening naturally without diets. That's the beauty of it. So I'm a big fan of fasting and intermittent fasting. How long a fast, that depends on each individual, what they're trying to achieve, how prepared their bodies. I believe we should prepare our bodies for fasting. So yeah, there's a lot that can go into that. And it's beautiful because it's one practice that can do miracle for us and cost nothing because it's the one time that you don't eat. And then, of course, there's smart things you can do. If you're going to fast, you don't want to be miserable. What's his name? David Asprey is huge on biohacking. I love him, all the research that he did. So he has the coffee recipe for fasting, for 24-hour fasting, and it makes life much easier. And I tried myself. It's amazing. So you mix some prebiotic fiber into your coffee and some form of fat, MTC fat or coconut oil fat, and all of a sudden you just focus, alert, not feeling hungry at all, and you're able to tolerate a whole 24-hour fasting. Actually, you go a little further. You can go like 36 hours because if you don't eat the entire day, then you go to sleep, then already prolonged. But most people like to stay with it 24 hours. So Instead of a whole fast, you can do an OMAD fast. That's a 1 meal a day fast. So there's so many things to talk about that, but I'm very careful when talking about fasting because I don't like to give suggestions because I don't know who is listening and what they're going to try. I don't want to put anyone in danger. God forbid, if you're too busy, you work outdoors, you're going to drive, you're going to go to the gym, you need to know when you're doing these things. You need to prep your body. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Well, and we'll get into a segment. I hope you have time where I will rapid fire ask you about you specifically. And of course, people, I wouldn't recommend blindly following someone because what they do for them might not be for you. But people love to know, hey, what are you doing? Right? If they see someone who looks great, they look way younger than they are, and their body's great. That people always want to know, hey, what do you eat? What do you do? And sometimes that can be a good starting point for people, right? Even if they just start, let me cut out the sugar, let me hit the gym, So switching gears into fitness, what's your stance on exercise? I think I already know, but what do you think about exercise as far as cardio and resistance training, et cetera? What role do you think that plays in people's life as far as longevity? What are your thoughts on it?
So I am not a fitness instructor, so I don't know much about exercise. The one thing I know is crucial for longevity. So if you are like me, if anyone listen here like me, I very much dislike strength training, but you have to do it. It's your savings account for the future. You just have to. So there's no way around. You got to do it. I believe that there's a huge difference between exercise and movement. And we need both to be flexible, to have vitality. You need to be able to move, you need to be able to turn without turning your whole body, like a neck should be able to move. You see a lot of people as young as 20 something years old, they work so much on certain muscles and they're so like harsh with their energies. If you call them up, they turn like this. Like, my goodness, no. There is a neck that separates the body to the head. You're supposed to do this, right? So movement and exercise together, very important. I start straight training much later than most people in life, but I followed a very healthy lifestyle my entire life. And I grew up doing dance. Then I ran tracks in school. And then I started running just because I liked it. I always walked. I'm a big on walking. Dancing is part of my life. I don't know if you can see here, but I have a trampoline right here in the corner.
I see the end of it there. You do the rebounding, as they call it, rebounding, right? That stuff's cool. That's very good.
I do like micro, like during the day. First thing I wake up is one of my practice. Come down here in like 3 minutes on the trampoline. You can do 1 minute. It's already highly beneficial for that vibration. But that's like between meetings, between classes, between anything. I wanted to just let it go of whatever in my mind. I put some music on and trampoline. That does wonders for your body, for your mind, for cardiovascular heart. Then going to the gym is necessary, or not, or do it at home. But you need weights. You need strength training. Absolutely. I love high intensity. I try to do it myself, but I'm very newbie to this. I do the walking, the sprints, running, I like that. Or even on the trampoline, I do that too. I do a lot of dancing. I pull weights on my arms and legs, and I dance at home. So biking, hiking, I try to do as much as I can, bringing fun, but it's important. You have to. There's so many options. Find the one type of exercise you like, yoga, Pilates, gym, but add on movement. Yoga is movement more than is exercise. It does wonders for your soul, for your mind, for your organs, but not as much for muscle. For your muscles, you need to go to the gym. Weights. So very important.
I love it. I'm not like you. I actually love exercise, and especially hard. Don't get me wrong. There's times where I don't want to go or I'm like, oh, I don't want to go train. I don't want to, but it's beyond a habit. It's a life, it's an identity, you know, it's part of who I am. But I do, for the most part, I enjoy I hate to use the word, but the suffering of it. It's like, because it's healthy suffering when I say, you know,
Yeah.
it's like,
I know.
I love it. But I've been like that forever. So
I grew up dancing. I need movement. So the idea of being stuck in one place, doing the same thing over and over, I'm like, it bores me to. I need to have really good music, like, you know, like getting me there. But it's so cool because at nighttime when I do body scanning, we'll talk about this. It's one of my favorite rituals. And I'm like, what? This little muscle here is like, what? I have that. Oh, that's hot. So love it. The results. I do work out for the results, but doesn't matter what the reason you do. It's something is doing inside of you is much greater than the results you see outside.
Oh, there you are.
It might be because the weather here, big storms coming. Sorry.
I was like, no, we're just getting to the
to the good part.
Yeah.
Hormone health rely big time on exercising the big muscles. So yeah, it's needed, very much needed. Find a way of doing it. Find what sparks your soul and go for.
Awesome. Now, with respect to, so you're a big believer in exercise, resistance training. We talked about diet. What about supplementation? I forgot to ask you about that. What are your thoughts on supplements? I know you mentioned if you haven't eliminated toxins and all that, you're kind of just wasting your money. But once you have your house in order and, you know, you're starting to eliminate the crap and you're doing better, do you believe in supplements, and what role do you think they play? I guess it's different for women, men, if a woman is a little older with the hormones and stuff, but just curious what your thoughts are.
It's very different. Supplementation for men and women should be carefully designed, the plan, or your own plan should be different going on seasons, in my opinion. And it's very different depending on your age and your levels. So it's very important to keep a good, you know, keep checking on where your levels are so you avoid toxicity. However, it's also crucial for longevity, supplements nowadays, because unfortunately, we don't get all the nutrients from our foods. One, because, my gosh, you would have to eat a tremendous amount of everything. And the food supply nowadays, you know, the way that the foods are harvested and it's just, there's not enough or clean minerals and vitamins on them anymore. And then our digestive system does the work, and depending on your health, is not absorbing the foods you eat properly. So you definitely need, you know, supplements. We live life today very different than we lived before. We spend more time indoors looking at a blue light screen, than we do outside in the sun because of various reasons. So supplement is big. I'm big on supplement. I take a lot of supplements because I am not a huge fan of a multivitamin. I know it works really well for a lot of people. I like to take them all separate and make life very difficult for me. But in my opinion, everyone nowadays, doesn't matter who you are, man, woman, your age, adult, every adult needs to be on vitamin D supplementation, probiotic, prebiotic, vitamin C, and magnesium. I think those are my top favorites, but there's a lot more that I would recommend. Oh my gosh, fish oils, CoQ10, vitamin E. It's like we all need. If you want to age gracefully, you need that. You need that supplementation. Supplementation is supposed to do just that. Supplement what you're not getting or you're not getting enough of. But you should eat foods. You cannot just decide to supplement yourself and forget about eating. You need eating. You need to masticate. This needs to be used.
Yep, I agree. I always my philosophy is fix your house first and then start to decorate. Once you have the
Yeah,
foundation in place, then worry about decorations, you know.
that's nice.
And
That's
I
perfect.
and what I mean by that is this is just my opinion. I'm not, an expert at all, but for me, it's, am I eating right? Am I avoiding the things that are harmful for the most part? Because I am human and sometimes I eat pizza or whatever. But for the most part, what do I do most of the time? Am I sleeping well? Am I managing my emotions? Am I exercising? Once I've done all that, then it's like, okay, what can I throw in there by way of supplementing to increase to optimize? That's how I approach it. And
That's beautiful.
and that works for me, right? Because if I'm not sleeping well or I'm stressed out, I feel like these supplements aren't going to do anything because it's like I'm already starting from a bad position. I need to fix the basics first. This is just how I see it, right? Can't eat like
I
crap but take supplements. Like it doesn't
no,
make sense. But
and
people do
we can
that.
once you find a place that you're already happy with, like you in life, you're content in life, you're doing all the right things, following the 80-20 rule, it's totally okay. You're human. Why not enjoy pizza sometimes? Why not enjoy a cake, a birthday cake? Like, my gosh, my birthday was yesterday. I wanted a cake. And I
Exactly.
had a cake. It's my birthday. But 80-20 rule, it's awesome. But if I had to categorize on everything that we said here, the importance of each thing, they're all important. We cannot do one and not do the other. I would go with sleep, a good night's sleep being the most important of all things you do, because you need to restore, you need to cleanse, you need to detox. Naturally, your body do that during your sleep cycle.
Right.
You're not eating, the digestive system gets, sleeping is like the top one best medicine on my book. After that, diet. Diet not meaning like I'm gonna follow a vegan or whatever diet. No. What you eat, nutrition is the second most important. And very close to that, exercise and movement. So if you have to prioritize one of those in a day, you happen to be traveling for work and now you're always stressed and you have to choose between eat a good meal or go for a workout. I'll go for, a good meal, a good decent, good quality food. If you have to choose between going on a big dinner or go to sleep, go to sleep. Please go to sleep. It's the most important. So know what you can do. And that's a big problem when people travel. They get very confused and sometimes they get lost into eating junk and killing themselves at hotel gyms and not having enough time to sleep. And the next day at meeting, they're like lost, confused, So I think that's a good rule to follow. Sleeping is always, always, always like top, top, top priority for hormone health, for everything. Your whole system needs that. You can go a day or two without exercise. You can go a day or two without proper nutrition, but not without sleep.
Yep, I agree. It's where I've neglected, or I shouldn't say neglected, but I definitely didn't prioritize it for most of my young life or adult life. I've always loved sleep though. I've been blessed to be one of those people that falls asleep anywhere, anytime. I just knock out. Like, but over the last few years, due to, I lost my father, though those things have been kept me up or waking up bad dreams.
Mm.
And so I've started to prioritize realizing that sleep is so important. Recovery is so important. And so now I've started to establish an evening routine. And what I learned from even Dr. Andrew Huberman is that sleep starts when you wake up, like
Mhm.
getting sunlight, moving your body,
Yeah.
like timing
Oh,
when
yeah.
you do these things affects that circadian cycle. So that
Big time.
I didn't know that, you think sleep is just at night. No. It happens, but when do you wake up and what do you do? And like,
Yeah. Again, you follow the circadian rhythm of nature. You start understanding yours better.
yep, even caffeine, I drink coffee, not a lot, but I timing caffeine intake, for
Right.
me, I'm a little sensitive to caffeine. Some people are not. They can drink.
Yeah.
I have a friend who drinks coffee before bed and it helps him go to sleep. So it's hilarious. I'm like, dude, I'll be up all night. Like that's just not me. But yeah, I totally agree with that order as well, you know.
There's one good rule. Can I share here? Because I think people can
Please.
benefit from the
Please.
for life, if you can do that. 10 hours before you go to bed, stop caffeine intake. 10 hours. Even people who are not sensitive to caffeine, you think you fall asleep fast, but the quality of your REM sleep, your deep sleep is probably being affected. So 10 hours before I go to bed, stop caffeine. Even before that, if you can, 1 coffee a day is great for you, but 3 hours before you go to bed, minimum 3 hours before you go to bed is when you stop eating. And if you have to drink an alcoholic beverage 3-4 hours before bed, maximum. I like to keep 5 hours before bed if you can, but 3 hours is like the minimum required. Anything after that, you're harming your health. You're decreasing your health span. You're going away from longevity and towards disease, literally. So those are daily practices. And then 2 hours before you go to bed, disconnect from work. No matter how important, whatever meeting it is, disconnect it. Because at 2 hours before you go to bed, at that time, you're already unable to focus, to be productive, to be proactive. So it's just waste. You just bring more toxins into it, And then 1 hour before you go to bed, disconnect. This is the hardest one for most people, and it was for me as well. Disconnect from blue light. Cell phones, TVs, ceiling lights, anything that has bright, all these LEDs at home, in homes today, the worst thing to disrupt the natural cycle of the melatonin. They already started kicking in when I'm looking here, just to be more exact. 9 p.m., the first melatonin secretion. So you're looking at a light, like this light you see here in my reflection, this light right now. If I have a light like this on the interview at 9 time, I'm already messing up my sleep cycle. And I already take a step towards, disease instead of step towards longevity. So every day following these little rules, it's a 10-3-2-1 rule. It's easy. If you can do that anywhere, when you travel, every day, most of your days, 80% of your time, better. Following the 80-20 rule always help. 2 days or 20% of your time, you can, eat a little bit later. Maybe it's a holiday, somebody's birthday, a wedding, or whatever. Life, right? Because you have to socialize, you have to enjoy. But most of your time, you have the control to do it. Like, create rituals, create pockets of things together that help you achieve those little goals, because that's going to pay off big for you on the long run.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. And I love that. And that brings up a question, and it's a challenge that I've had. As a matter of fact, I've asked a lot of people to see, and I want to hear your suggestion. So the caffeine, I've heard, I think again, Dr. Andrew Huberman or maybe Rhonda Patrick, I think it was like 8. I can't remember if they said 8 to 10 hours. Try to avoid caffeine. So if you go to bed at 10, So I've tried to stop at noon. I'm still drinking right now, and it's past noon, but I try to say, okay, no more caffeine past 12 or 1, give or take. With respect to the eating, so I've heard that a lot. It interrupts the digestive system. If you're digesting, you're probably not fully rested, because now instead of sleeping, your body's working on digesting this food. Mm-hmm. And I'm guilty of eating way too much and then going to sleep. And I know it's catching up to me. So I've started to make changes, but here's the problem. This is my individual problem. I train at night, not all the time, but we do train at like 7 o'clock and we go till like 9. And so already just that alone is already interrupting my sleep, because I come I've started to do like breathing exercises, same ones I told you. Also with the shower, like the way the temperature of the water, all these little things have helped, especially the breathing, even a little yoga routine as soon as I get back and I shower to help just turn back that sympathetic nervous system and just relax. That's helped me. The problem is after training, I'm so hungry that I'm eating, and then within the hour I'm going to bed, and I do not like that feeling anymore. And so that's been my challenge. The best advice I've gotten so far is to switch the size of my meal from, instead of dinner or the big one at night, make that maybe at lunch, and eat a little bit more. Whenever you eat more, so that at the end of the day, if you have to have something, it's a light snack, but you shouldn't be eating a big meal and going to bed.
Right. Or spices or all kinds of, right.
I mean,
your brain does eat fat at night. So there are ways of, here's the big problem I see, Ricardo, if I may.
Yes, please.
Exercising at night, the type of exercising that you're doing, you're not only creating a problem later because you're going to be hungry, and after you exercise, you do need to eat right away for muscle health. Otherwise, you don't create the muscle gain because your body is going to use muscle for energy instead of food for energy. So there is a bunch of problems all together in one with that practice. But the biggest thing is every time you promote exercise and your heart rate goes up and your nervous system wakes and you get that, that's because you're waking up cortisol hormone, which is the opposite of what you need at nighttime. Cortisol today is a huge problem. A lot of people have their circadian rhythm switched because of cortisol, and then you can sleep. If you can sleep next day, you're not you 100%. Simple. And again, you're taking steps towards a future that is not as healthy as it could be. So you work out, you're waking up cortisol. Now, if you need to work out at night, make a lighter workouts, movements like yoga, you can do at night, but not heart pumping, no, nothing, then you go in. However, if you cannot make that change right away, the one thing I highly suggest for you that's going to help your body, and it's going to help your muscles recover, soups. Have soup at night. Make it as liquid as possible, or just drink bone broth. Soups. That's going to help you. One, because soups are one of the most amazing foods for us because it's packed with nutrients. If you cook properly on a pressure cooker, it absorbs all the nutrients and it stays there. So you eating. Secondly, it's much easier on the digestive system because it's pre-digested for you. It's already mushy or water or, Third, soups contain a higher amount of oils based on, bone broth. If you put bones there, chicken bones or whatever, cow bones or anything there, and vegetables. So they contain, so contain oils, and your body needs that fat. Your brain needs fat at nighttime. So if you made soup solely from vegetables and you blend it all and it's all a cream of vegetable, add olive oil to it because that's going to help your brain. That's going to help you sleep. So that's my best advice. And then also not a bucket of soup, just a cup of soup, even if it's miso soup, if you always have miso, a paste, organic miso, you can make a little miso, put some herbs, put some garlic mash, so a powerhouse on immunity boost. Add olive oil, which is not very Asian-like, but it's okay. Add olive oil and drink that. You're going to sleep so well, and your body going to think you ate a full plate of meal because miso, it's high on protein. So it triggers your brain to think, oh, I just ate actually a full meal and not you just drank a cup of miso.
Yeah, it's funny. We had a telepathic moment because when you were talking about soup, I was like, I'm going to eat a bucket of soup. They're like,
Not
not a
about
bucket.
well,
No,
here's
but
the
I
beauty.
do, I do like that. I do
If
like
you
that
put
idea.
good nutrients in, you don't need a lot of food. If your food, if your plate or your bowl or whatever it is that you're about to eat is nutrient packed, and then doesn't need to be a higher quantity because you're feeding nutrients. At the end, that's your body's search for. The major problem with most people today, everyone is well fed, but poorly nourished. What does that mean? A lot of foods that are poor in nutrition. Switch it. Put a lot of nutrition in a smaller quantity, and you're like golden.
I love that. So going back to your suggestion, the type of training I do is high intensity. It's martial arts, but it's like Brazilian jiu-jitsu, it's wrestling being the like
Yeah.
totally like high intensity you're going after, because wrestling is probably one of the hardest, in my opinion, probably the hardest sport that there is right now, in my opinion. Just because it's like isometric contraction against somebody else, there's so much movement. And so, that's what I do. I do kickboxing or wrestling. But some changes I've made. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, you're waking up cortisol
I know.
and testosterone. Because that's like, that energy. That's testosterone. Testosterone and cortisol both keep you up, because that's what they made for, to keep you alert, to go fight, to prevent, to protect. That's the opposite energies you need at nighttime. Try to find a class a little earlier, like 5 p.m. if you can.
Yeah, I'm. It's something that I've been talking with my girlfriend, because we both train together actually, so we kind of go to the same classes and stuff. But yeah, a couple of changes I've made, like I said, was one, using breathing to turn back on the parasympathetic nervous system, which has helped tremendously. I was struggling to get to sleep because I was so wired up. And just by doing 5 minutes, a 10-minute yoga thing, it literally brought me back down. Also drinking chamomile tea with honey, that kind of stuff helped. Writing a little bit of my thoughts. But specifically to the training, some other changes I've made was, we used to stay for like the whole, it would be like 2 hours. Now cut off half hour at the end. And even when sparring or doing live rolling, which is, you're kind of 100%. Even now, I put my ego to the side and I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to kind of chill with this one. I'm not going to go crazy. And how I know is my breath work and my heart rate. I just know my body. I can feel where my heart rate's at, whether I'm going too hard or not. I just know my body just through years of training. I know, right? So that has helped too. But for now, in the immediate future, the schedule is going to be the same just because of my life. But I feel it adds a lot of benefit for me with mindset. But what I will try is I've tried to eat heavier in the day. So in the afternoon, like the heavier things that are, not stuff myself, but just replace that meal with the lunch now. And then the nighttime, I'm going to try your idea. I'm going to try soup and, like you say, loaded with nutrients, not necessarily a big meal, but loaded with really good nutrients. And I'll see how that works. Maybe a hemp. I like hemp protein. It's really good on my stomach. For me, it works well.
The beauty of soups, you can make a huge thing of soup and then freeze them in separate containers. And you make like 2 or 3 big soups, and you always have variety. Now, if you're a person who are okay eating the same thing every day, that's fine. If you're like me, I get tired of the same thing every day. I like variety. So I like to make my soups like fresh. So I'll make little soups, but I always have something prepared or frozen to go with in the soups.
Beautiful. Yeah. So my end goal though is to switch classes and eventually make it so it's in the afternoon. And maybe very much earlier. So by 4 or 5, I'm done, and it gives my body time.
How often do you go to those classes?
It really depends. I have a daughter who's a teenager, but that's from a previous relationship. So just depends when I get to see her. So my schedule with her just depends on her school schedule and everything, right? So I would say it's 50-50. Sometimes I go 2-3 days in a row. Other times I'm with my daughter. So it fluctuates. So
Okay, so it's not so bad. If you can get your exercises earlier in the day, the heavier meals
Right.
early in the day, then, little by little you start adjusting things.
I definitely want to find an earlier class, though. That was already something we talked about. And we're like,
Right.
maybe we just need to find something earlier. So we just got to coordinate it. But it is something I've thought about because I know I'm wired up and that's what's happening.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I want to switch gears. I appreciate your insight into that. I'm going to try that out. I think it'll help. So this one.
Yeah, let me know if you need suggestions or recipes or any of that to try.
Okay,
For soups.
cool.
Soups are delicious.
I love soups.
love soup.
I love soup.
I can eat soup every day.
I love soup. They're awesome. It's a good hack for getting great nutrition in like a healthy. I love it. And it's winter here too. It's so cold. So it's great. In the winter, I love soup because it keeps you warm, Okay, so I want to go into a rapid fire session. And so the purpose of this is I'm going to hit you with back-to-back questions. And I'm going to ask you to keep your answers short and sweet if you can, of course.
Short and sweet. Okay, I'll try.
So, because I want to extract from you what you do, and really give people inspiration as to what's possible and what you do. So to start with, real quick, I understand that you did, I don't know what it's called, but I guess it's to understand how old you are biologically versus chronologically. And so what that means is like, for people that don't know, we're born on a certain date. And if, you're 50 years old on your 50th birthday, but a biological age could mean that you're much younger than how long you've actually been here, meaning how quickly your organs are aging and things like that. Did I explain that correctly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, chronological versus biological age, right? Finding your. So I just turned 48 yesterday, and
happy belated. 333. That's a good number.
I'm 30, so I'm 15 years younger, about 15 years younger. My goal is to get to 50, being below 30. That's my goal.
That's really cool. I know I messaged you happy birthday, but happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Glad to hear you had cake.
Gotta have cake.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. So with that said, I want to start from just walk us through real quick what your typical day, obviously days change, but what's an average day for Maria Antonietta? What's an average day from you wake up until you're asleep? An average day.
Okay, I love rituals, and my days are not the same, but my rituals, I try to keep it always the same. I wake up between 5:30 and 7, depending on the day, depending on the weather, depending on, many things. I wake up, smile. I cuddle a little bit until the snooze button, because that just brings me so much happiness in my body and gratitude. I'm a big believer we should appreciate all the things we have instead of looking at, the grass is always greener out there. Let's look at here. That does wonders. You wake up feeling happier. Then I literally straight to the bathroom and I do a tongue scraping. I do not swallow that first gulp, because when you sleep, you're laying down, right, position. So the body is doing a detox process, a cleansing process. And because of your position, the esophagus is open, a lot of that comes back up. So then you're upright, you're going to want it to swallow that. The first thing I do is spit out and tongue scraping. That's toxins that you don't need to put back on your body. And then I go into the kitchen, put my water to boil, and it's a cup of hot water with a little bit of salt and squeezed lemon or lime. And I also add parsley, organic parsley, into the water. And it's usually a big mug of water. After that, I take another huge 32-ounce thing of water, just water, ton of water. Water kind of flushes everything out, cleanse. So much so that too much information here. Your second P is going to be almost as hard as dark as the first one because you're removing toxins. It's beautiful. If you start doing it, you won't have that problem anymore. But in the beginning, you might. And then I come here, trapeze jumping for 3 minutes. So I'm still on my rope, pajamas, still like waking up. And then doing that, I start prepping my juices. So every single day, I make for us first thing in the morning, either a green juice or a smoothie or bone broth. That's the first thing we have after water. So every day, the juice is the one that gives the most work to prep. I prep them freshly every day. I don't like to pre-make. So it's either a big cup of green juice or smoothie or a cup of bone broth, homemade bone broth from organic, from all that grass-fed beef and etc. And then after that, go up, shower, meditation, podcast, breath work, light movement exercise, a lot of squat and movements for the hip, a lot of like neck, a lot of breathing to wake me up, to bring me energy, to being positive. Whatever I need to listen to, I listen to a lot of spirituality, a lot of productivity in the morning while I shower, get ready. Right before shower, remove all the things in the bed. It's not too much information. I remove all the covers, let it air.
No, it's not.
After
I want to know
shower,
your day.
After shower, I come straight to the bed, make the bed. I don't start my day without making the bed. That's so important to me, you know? And then I'm in my mirror, getting ready, put on makeup. Makeup is all clean products. It's not just makeup. It's cosmeceuticals, they call it, but no chemicals, cruelty-free, all of that. I do love makeup because it's SPF, protects the skin, and I'm not touching my face all over the place. That's one trick for anti-aging for women. So
I sorry to interrupt you. I'm going to get you to send me your makeup stuff because my lady uses makeup too. Not a lot, but I always tell her, like, you should try to use the non-toxic crap. And
exactly.
She doesn't use a lot, though, but still, you know, it gets absorbed in the skin, right? So.
Anything you put on your skin, your liver is absorbing.
Yes.
Anything.
So I'm gonna bother you to message me with that if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Anyways,
tell her to set up, or both of you at the same time, set up a free chat with me, and we go over all the daily stuff.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, of course, I'm happy to. So then I'm putting on makeup, listening to whatever it is that I'm listening, spirituality or productivity. Or, you know, podcast, Dr. Andrew Huberman is one of them. I am in that moment visualizing my day, visualizing my goals, thinking of the people I love. I look at my calendars. If somebody's birthday, that's the first thing I do, send a message. I like to know everyone is well. And then I come to my office. I close the door. Done. I'm here. So I put on the computer, set everything, look at my agenda, everything is organized. Now I go back and get myself a cup of coffee. And with the coffee, usually I have a boiled egg or something like that in the morning. And that's how I start my day. And then the day goes as, you know, depending. It's all me doing everything. So it's classes, meetings, clients, whatever it is that I'm doing. I always take little breaks for the trampoline. I don't have at the moment in this house, but in the new house, I'm going to have my trapeze back on. I'm a yoga trapeze instructor. So I do love to practice my trapeze in the middle of the day. So before lunch, I take a break for trapeze or yoga or dancing. If it's a nice day, I go on a power walk. Bless you.
You could tell, eh? Even with the mute.
There is no way, right? It's no, you know, that it's funny. It's amazing is one moment that we stop breathing and the heart stop at the same time. So that's why we say bless you. It's, hey, you're back.
Thank you for the blessing. So, glad to be back.
So mid-day, I always do some kind of exercise. Going to the gym, going to the complex gym or at home gym. We are moving, so we're going to turn the garage into our gym. So that's going to be a lot easier. And do trapeze. I move a lot because I don't like to be sitting for a long time. So I do trapeze, I do dancing, I do hula hoop. Love my hula hoop. My gosh. It's a few minutes that not only exercise but move everything this session, but it brings me at least so much happiness. My second part of the day, it's like happy. I prep lunch, eat my lunch, which is a big meal. Chit chat a little bit with my fiance. We both work from home, so it works well. We have lunch together, which is cute. And then come back to work, do what I have to do. Around 4:30, I stop work to start prepping dinner. We have dinner early. About 5:30 is when we have dinner. And then we go for a walk. Minimum 20 minutes, 30 minutes walk. If it's raining, we walk at home. We have the I call the elliptical at home. And then after that, I come back to my desk to finish some whatever I was doing that, but I prioritize to stop working for making dinner early. And then I give myself another hour. And then we give ourselves another hour together on the living room, watching something funny or interesting or travel-based or whatever common interest. Nothing aggressive, nothing like gory or nothing like that. No negative, no news, no nothing at night. And then we start the evening routine quite early, around 8:30 p.m. So my routine is we have a sauna at home, So it's a portable sauna. It's something that everyone can have it. You don't have it to have it in the bathroom. You can have it in your garage, in your living room, whatever. So we put on the sauna and I'm doing body scanning while the sauna is getting ready. So that's my favorite part of the night is my evening routine. So body scanning is that moment that I wonder if this is going to be too much information here with you, but my lady friends watching this,
go for it. Go for it.
So the part that is the most intimate moment is you in your bathroom. And I love those moments in your bathroom. It's just you and naked because you're about to take a shower, going to sauna. And that's my body scanning. I a good body scanning, how I'm feeling, how I'm doing. I'm always watching for new, skin things and all of that. My hair, I notice everything. I'm noticing how much more is growing with each year. Instead of getting weaker and falling, my hair is getting amazing. And I'm so grateful for that. I look at nails, I look at my teeth, I look at my tongue, because you can tell a lot of the health of your own health, your kidney health, and whatever in your tongue or your eyes. You can see if you're dehydrated, And then I start making notes, like this week has been really good. Next week, I'm going to try that and that. So then I go into the sauna. During my sauna, I listen to podcasts or ebooks, everything that is positive mindset, mentality, productivity, all that. And then shower. The shower is fun. I do a quick breath work during shower, which is also a quick meditation that brings you right back to present moment. And a lot of my creative thoughts and ideas and projects comes during shower. I love the shower. Just let the hot water hit your body and relax. And I literally pay attention on the shoulder, and then move a little more, leave the shower. I go into my infrared light therapy that I have a little corner dedicated for that. So I sit there for another 15 minutes with light music like Enya or things like that. And after that, go to bed. I put the mask on to help me shut from, looking at little lights or anything like that. And I fall asleep. The phone is always outside my bedroom, always on non-disturbing and airplane mode. I do have my family set for in case they need to call me in emergency, I receive the call. But other than that, and I have a beautiful night's sleep and I wake up 8.5 hours later. So between 7 and 8 hours later. Yeah. And start all over again.
That's beautiful. I like it.
Was that too long?
No, that's great. That's great. I like it. It gives these things serve as motivation, inspiration for people, and it's important. Everybody's routine has to be tailored to their lifestyle, but kind of like people can grab the concepts, and then adjust the fundamentals, the principles that you talk about and apply. Because I'm a big believer in rituals as well,
Yeah.
So
one thing that bothers me and don't let me relax, my mind relax, is clutter. So I do things like when you're leaving the living room from watching TV, I make sure the living room is back together. The pillows are in place, things are in place. Because if I go to sleep knowing that I don't want to wake up to a messy place, right? So right before I go upstairs, I set up the living room. My office is always clean. My notes are always made. Like I'm trying to be as proactive as I can because I know clutter bothers me. So like
God.
you said, you have to adjust your routines for who you are.
Oh my God, that's 100% me. I have a problem. Like, first of all, my wife, she complains like because I throw away too much. I'm the opposite extreme. I'm the type of person that does not hoard, but I'm the extreme where I'll throw away stuff that I'm like, shit, I should have kept that. Like, because I hate clutter. I'm more minimalist, simplistic. I like more space. Even my desktop is like just one icon. Like my emails, like I like the things very clean. Even the table, I like to know it's clear. Like, it's one of those things. Maybe it's like a form of, maybe it's to the degree of unhealthy. I don't know. It doesn't stop me where I'm going to lose sleep, but I am like you where I like to.
Unhealthy.
I like to keep things nice and organized. I think it's important.
Right.
Just the way I am. I think that's Aquarius thing, to be honest. Everyone I know is like that.
Yeah, I know.
You know why? Because we have so many tabs open in our head that it doesn't help when the environment has too much stimulus. We're already thinking too much.
Yeah. It's like unfinished business. If I have something unfinished, it bothers me. I can't. So I'm very proactive at, finishing everything or cleaning before I go to bed. No clutter, no unfinished business. Like, I can't. Yeah. Not talking about work projects and stuff like that. It's just.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Rapid fire. What are your go-to meals? Let's say your top 3 to 5.
Okay. Soups for sure. Top number 1.
Soup.
Broth, bone broth, but that might be similar to soup. Yeah. Risottos. I love risottos and I make them so healthy and so delicious. I have to start cooking and sharing recipes because my risottos are fantastic. I love risotto. Let me see. And I do like a good steak. So those are my top 3. I used to be addicted to sugar. I love pastas and all that. I am Italian, so, of course I love pastas. But if I had to pick, I think soup, risotto, and protein.
Okay, cool. And top 3 foods to avoid?
Processed foods in general, sugaries for sure, and alcoholic beverages, even though it's not food, but drinking, yeah. I just stop them. Yeah,
I don't really drink. Very, very, very seldom I'll have a drink. And even then it's like, I don't care. I can go the rest of my life without drinking. I don't smoke. Doesn't bother me at all. Yeah, I don't need drinks to have a good time or,
Right. That's my point too. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I have just cheers or whatever, but no.
I also find it entertaining to watch people transform. I will pick someone in the room and be like, I'm going to count how many drinks he has, like my buddy, and I'll be like, he's at drink 4. Watch, he's going to start being an asshole around 5. And all of a sudden he starts saying stupid stuff. I find it funny. So I find that to me is more entertaining, to watch people lose their cognitive faculty. It's kind of sad, but it's like, it's also something you play a little game with, It's like, look, they're transforming. They're dancing now. Okay, so those are your foods. Top, you kind of touched on the supplements, but if you were to say your top supplements, I think you already...
Can't live without fish oils, CoQ, vitamin D, pro and prebiotics. Oh, vitamin C as well. C.
And you mentioned vitamin D, I think, as well.
Yeah, vitamin D.
You said, okay.
I think I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah. Okay. For top 3 things to do for bedtime routine, which I know we just went through your thing, but if you had to pick only 3 things you can do to optimize your sleep for you.
Okay. Laughter, sauna, and breathing for sure. All
Laughter,
3.
sauna, breathing.
Sauna could be shower as well if you don't have the sauna. But now that I do, I like to can go without the sauna. But a good I can't go to bed without a shower ever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very relaxing. I do sauna after my workouts in the morning. The gym has a sauna. I do 20, 30 minutes, anywhere between 4 to 7 times a week. I love it. It's like,
Yeah, I think I might be mistaken. Maybe it's not Huberman, but it says that, no, maybe it's not him, but I forgot who it is. The perfect amount of sauna is 4 times per week, 20 minutes. 4 times or 20 minutes for longevity.
yeah, I think it's
So,
Dr. Rhonda Patrick kind of started that trend. If you can get in at least, about 20 minutes at a certain temperature.
yeah,
I love it.
right.
You know, it really helps me do some of my best thinking, and it's awesome. Okay, so we talked about supplements. Now, is there any new technology or that you're aware of, or exciting things in the longevity space that you see could potentially change our life? Not just how long we live, which is great, but the quality of life. Like, let's say you're able to maintain a level of a healthy 30-year-old all the way into 120 years old or something. Is there anything that you see that's super exciting on the horizon or that's here that people don't know about?
To that extent, I don't know. But stem cell research is a big deal now. It can extend the life of many because they are able to create organs and, things that are vital for our survival. So, but there's a lot that can be done. The IVs are getting more high tech and more fancy than ever, but it's getting more expensive than ever as well. So I still think for majority of people, including myself, avoiding things and rely on nature is still your best bet. Just by doing that, you are capable to be 120 easy.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Your top 3 tips for living in the present. And I just want to frame that by saying, when I say living in the present, I'm talking about emotionally and mentally, where you're not guilty or sad or stuck in the past, and you're not obsessed in the future. So therefore anxiety is gone. You're just happy, you're present, you're truly in the moment. What's your top 3 tips just to be happy,
So try to bring yourself back to the present moment, always when possible or needed, or you can. Know yourself well, have your values. If you're not sure what your values are, pick up a book, write a bunch down and start narrowing down to at least 3 or 5. Knowing your values is very, very powerful. Connect with family and friends. The feeling of having a support system is priceless. I think those would be my top 3.
That's awesome. And one last question. This one is I got from Tim Ferriss. I don't know if you've heard of Tim Ferriss. He's a very famous podcaster, etc. But he always asks his guests if you could have a quote, anything, like a phrase on a billboard. You probably heard it. Have you heard that before? His question. But basically, if you could have one quote, or it could be your own or somebody else's, a phrase that's on a billboard for everybody to see, what would it be? People always because this one forces you.
Okay, there's so many. I love quotes, but there's one.
Even if it's yours, doesn't have to be somebody else's.
So there's one that I love and it motivates me daily. And I have it in my bathroom so I can look at first thing in the morning, last thing at night. Is today you are exactly where you're supposed to be. Tomorrow is up to you.
Ah, that's beautiful. I like that.
Yeah. I have that in my bathroom window, in a little Canva thing. Yeah, that motivates me daily.
That's good. I like that. That's pretty dope. Is there anything else you think we missed that you think is very important for people to know You know, because the type of people listening will be some people who are already health conscious. Some are kind of starting on that path. So any advice for those?
One thing that I want to remind people is inflammation and stress are, if not the root cause, they are side effects of every disease, every health problem out there. So removing inflammation, it's easy and it's free, and it's up to us to do it. Nobody can do it for you. And you don't need a lot of money. Remove the junk, remove the processed foods. You have the power to promote health, like, you know, and eliminate pain. No one deserves to live in pain. No one deserves to live not feeling loved and seen by others. And we have the power each to change that. It's up to us. So that's the beauty of being human. I wanted people to feel empowered to do things. There's so much knowledge out there. There's so many free resources. You know, if you don't know who to follow nature. Like an animal, when they're in pain or not feeling well, what do? They rest. They stop eating. They rest. You know, just be true to yourself. Keep things simple and keep moving forward. We have eyes on the front of the head. My father used to say that. We're not meant to look back as you walk forward. The eyes are here. You just look here.
Unless you're being chased, then you're like, how far are they?
Good legs then.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's great. So Maria, where can people find you? How do they reach you, contact you, etc., if they want to find out more?
You can find me on a Google search or Instagram or my website. It's very similar. Instagram handle is Maria Antonietta HHC altogether. And my website is www.maria-antonietta.com. So, yeah.
And that's ANTONIETTA.com. Either way, I'm going to include all of that in the show notes. Everywhere this is going, it's going to have everything in viewers, but it's good for people to know. Yeah, and I think we're good. This is officially the longest one so far.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
No, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I honestly, I could keep going. I just have something coming up soon. So I fortunately, I should have given my, but I could talk to you forever about this. This is a subject I love very much.
Right.
But thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Hopefully we can have a part 2. And we'll.
Let's do it.
I'm sure I'm gonna end this and then have a million more questions and be like, shit, I should have asked her that. It's okay.
Yeah, feel free to contact, set up a session for you and your partner. Like, I'll be happy to chat with you guys and help guide you on some modifications, some daily modifications that can bring a ton of like positive transformations and promote longevity and vitality, because that's what it's all about.
It's all about, right? 100%.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So thank you so much, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, so grateful. This was so good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love it. Bye-bye.